If you work on a farm or in a city and you're a man or a woman or a family of meerkats or a gladiator fighting a giant monster and are ready for change, have I got the generic service just for you and everybody.
Hello and welcome to Small Business Connections, the webcast that helps you learn how to make connections. And especially if you're a small business, that's our niche. We're going to be talking about niche today. So I'm Bruce Harrett. I am pivoting these days. I'm calling myself the pivot coach because I'm helping a whole bunch of clients to pivot their business to help them find new sources of income because of the changed world we live in. And over there beside me, I don't know if it's left or right, is Peter Kelly with that wonderful smile of his. And what is it you do, Peter?
Hey, Bruce. I make engaging video content for people. I help people connect with their customers with video.
Right. And I suppose you help them connect with prospects to convert them to customers as well. That'd be the end game, I suppose, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So today we're going to talk about niche. Now, I found out recently this is pronounced niche in the States.
Yes,
in the US.
It's one of those
Niche.
like things like click and click.
This guy had a webinar which was called "Ditch the Niche," but we don't agree with that. We think that a niche is a good idea, or a niche, as we say here, because we have that French influence. Niche, yeah. Oui.
So whatever you want to call it, you have to find it.
Well, that's my first question. What is a niche, Peter?
Niche is your specialty. It's your target audience. It's the subset of people that you serve. It's the reason I want to talk about this because the sheer amount of people who, when you ask them, who's your ideal client, they say everybody. That just can't possibly be true. There has to be a niche.
What's wrong with that? Well, what's wrong with everybody? That's going to be a big market, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The problem is that when you try to appeal to everybody, you don't appeal to anybody. Like for me, when I make a video, it's always targeted to the viewer, whether it's a TV show, whether it's a promo, or even just like a social media thing that I'm doing for fun. It's always about who is my audience, who are the people that it's trying to appeal to. And if you try to make something that appeals to everybody, it's so bland that it's meaningless. So you have to have somebody specific in mind and target them.
A lot of my clients, when I start working with them as a coach, for a small business coach or pivot coach, is they say, but I don't want to choose a smaller audience. I want to have everybody. How am I going to make a living? And then we do the math. And I say, well, let's consider all women between the ages of 25 and 35 in the GTA, the Greater Toronto area. How many of those do you think are? I don't know, probably 500,000. I'm thinking probably, or 300,000. Would that be enough for you? Well, I only need 6 clients a month. Okay, well, here we go. You don't choose a niche that has 10 people in it, right? So you have to be reasonable. You're going to choose. Now, it's called niche marketing, which means you're choosing an audience. And I want to get at the why. So why would you tell a client when they say everybody, and then they say, well, you say to them, well, you might want to narrow that down a bit, and they go, why? So what's your answer to that, Peter?
It's the single biggest thing is usually the language. So every little group of people, like every industry, has its own way of talking. There's phrases or just mannerisms that they use. So you want to use that to show that you understand the inner workings of that niche. So, I mean, that's really what it boils down to. People like to work with people that they trust, and you trust people who understand what you do for a living. Right. So it's that, figure out what your niche is and then learn everything about it and speak to those people the way they speak to each other.
Right, in the language of the buyer, in this case, the buyer, the client, or the prospect. What I say, my writer's background tells me that we don't speak not simply the language, but also the messaging is targeted to a need or a problem, right? So what I tell my clients when we're marketing is to say, what is the problem you're solving? And for whom is that a problem? And we usually narrow it down to say, well, for example, somebody was working with somebody yesterday who does online marketing. Okay. So I said, well, who needs online marketing? And he said, well, business owners. And I said, yeah, but you're a one-person shop. Is it any business owner? Are you going after enterprise companies? Oh my God, no. So I said, oh, small business owners.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fear of if I'm eliminating everybody else, if I niche down, it's well, then I'm knocking out so many other potential clients. But the reality is you're not, because you can still serve those people. You're just not targeting them. I learned that early on, actually. I worked on a TV show that was a very specific audience. It was about comic books, and we needed, while making the show, to make sure that it made sense to comic book viewers, comic book readers. If we made a show targeted towards, retirees who have never read a comic book in their life, then the actual audience that was most likely to watch our show wouldn't be watching the show. So same way with your marketing, you've got to pick your audience, and then you're not going to eliminate. If a retiree wanted to watch that show, be delighted to have them. You can still have it be accessible to people outside of your niche, but you don't want to focus your energy on that.
So another term I use with my clients is the ideal client, or avatar. Avatar has gotten bandied about. It's really actually a religious term from, I believe it's Hinduism, Eastern religions, where it's apparently I haven't got this perfectly, but it's something like a recreation on earth of a god. And what it's come to mean in our marketing, though, in avatar, is this ideal imaginary client. And I go quite in depth around that, because when they say, why are we going so in depth about my prospects? I said, well, when you meet them, I'd like you to notice it, right?
Yeah.
Like if you meet one, I'd like you to go, oh my God, that's one of the people I want, because in your head, the other cool thing that people have found is if you ask a question of a prospect that demonstrates you have a deep understanding of that prospect, they will stop and they'll go, that is a really good question. You are reading my mind. And when my clients tell me that somebody said you're reading my mind and they're a prospect, I go, thank you. Because of course, you need to be in their mindset. The whole basis of communication is understanding who you're talking to. If you're talking to a 9-year-old child about toys, it's very different from talking to a middle-aged person or a retiree, right?
Yep.
Obviously, it's communication.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, it immediately positions you as an authority. That they understand that you know what you're talking about. And anything that kind of elevates you to a position of expert, of authority, is going to help you grow your business. Like that's just, it's one of those things where, and because you can't be an expert in everything, be an expert in one thing, and master that. And it's worth noting that because you have a niche doesn't mean you can't have a second niche. Like you can, right. Once you master one, you can move to another.
But that also requires that you have different channels of communication, because you don't want to confuse people about what you're offering. So if you're offering photography to one group, but you're offering set design to another group, you might say, well, why don't we do a kind of niche marketing campaign that maybe Facebook or something that narrows right in on that target group, right? Because it can be confusing. So Peter, we always try to keep it simple. So if we were to summarize what is a niche, what would you say? Just to keep it very simple. It's a group of people who
need exactly what you're selling. And I guess that's
or have a problem that you can solve. Right? Yeah. And the why I would say, I'll give this to you after. The why I would say would be, if you don't know who's going to buy your product, then you'll never be able to find the right way to communicate with them, and they'll never know about you.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's beautifully. I can't even add to that. This is why you're a marketing coach. This is why you're a pivot coach. You've said it wonderfully. I don't want to muddy the waters.
Thank you. So next time you're going out to a networking event, one of the things you can think of is write a one sentence. This is what I do with my clients anyway. Write a one sentence description of your ideal client. So mine would be, I've written it right here to remind me, helping small business owners find new sources of income in these changing times. So that's a specific person. And you could say, oh, my friend Jerry, he's a massage therapist and they're really in trouble right now. Could you work with him? I'd say, yes. So, if you want referrals, you better be able to describe that person that you're after so people can help you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I go to networking events regularly, and I'm more than happy to make introductions to people. I'll introduce, somebody I've just met, like, hey, here's somebody. But the amount of people who make it work to find out who their ideal client is crazy. Like, I'll ask, who are you looking to do business with? And the everybody. And then you have to ask a second question and a third question. And, you get 4 or 5 questions in trying to drill down. And now I'm at a networking event and I'm doing work. I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
So I stop.
So you always send them to me, right?
Absolutely. Great referral source for you.
Not yet. I'm waiting. Now, that would be great because that's a perfect opening to say, you should talk to Bruce because he helps people write that down in one sense and they memorize it and they go to networking events and everybody starts giving them referrals. No guarantees, but that's the intention anyway. So shall we wrap it up for this episode of Small Business Connections? Please get out there and connect as best you can on Zoom. This thing will all be a thing of the past eventually, and we'll be back to that wonderful face-to-face. But there are many opportunities right now. Peter's involved with one. Do you want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah, Authentic Networkers. We have events online, and the beauty of it, the format translates online really well because we'll have 80 to 100 people show up, but then you get sent into a room of 4 or 5. So you have
virtual. It's a virtual.
You can have
room.
An actual conversation in a virtual breakout room,
Right.
and I'm having a ball at them. It's really fun actually because I get to be an attendee, not just an organizer now. So.
Oh, nice. So we'll put that up on the screen here for you, that how to get in touch with Authentic Networking. Also, how to get in touch with me. If you are still giving that answer, I sell to everybody in the entire world because I'm going to be rich that way. Talk to me. I offer a half-hour coaching consultation. It's no charge at all, just to get to know each other, see if there's a way we can work together. And Peter, I think you do the same thing. Just give a call and talk to Peter for terrific video.
If you have figured out who your niche is and you need a hand making the content to reach them, I would love to chat with you.
And of course, that would be me referring to you, which I need to do more often. I'll work on it.
Same here.
All right. Till next time, thanks for tuning into Small Business Connections. We'll see you on the web again soon.